What I recommend when you get started in PR is to start small. Try to do something like get featured on a list of the top products in your category by emailing the person that runs that webpage. But ultimately, what you're going to want to do when you start to scale up is get a very high return on investment in terms of publicity, in terms of reach, not necessarily in terms of profit. And the way that you're going to do that is partially from doing things like unconventional PR. So, in the next few slides, what I'm going to do is provide advice on unconventional PR that comes from the book Traction, which is a book on startup marketing. So, let's go through some examples. Richard Branson, one of the world's most famous CEOs, does huge spectacles to announce new products. So, for example, at one launch event, he wore a spacesuit. At another, he was seen driving a tank through the streets. Uber did a piece of unconventional PR where they delivered kittens. Now, does doing something like delivering kittens make sense? Does that really generate enough profit for the company? Well, in isolation, no, these types of things don't. But when you calculate the financial value of the PR, of the media attention, of the reach, then it makes a lot of sense. And there's a cascade effect there through word of mouth and through other media channels picking up on that story and talking about that story long into the future. So, one of the advantages of doing unconventional PR is that you have less competition. Most people are going to be doing conventional PR, but how many people are willing to make big, bold bets on these odd types of stunts? So that's one of the key advantages you have as a startup is you can make big bold bets. You can take bigger risks than larger companies can. So that puts you in a less competitive space. And there are two types of unconventional PR, according to the author of Traction. The first is publicity stunts, which most of us are familiar with. And the other is customer appreciation. So these are things like contests or handwritten notes to customers. Now, there's this widely held myth in the marketing world that the path to growth is through existing customers, through stimulating loyalty, retaining customers. But when we look at the evidence from the Ehrenberg Bass Institute, what we see is the key to growth is actually the opposite. It's new customer acquisition. But the advantage of focusing on customer appreciation is not that it actually has a higher ROI than acquiring new customers. It's that it's the pathway to acquire new customers in that it can generate a lot of publicity, it can generate a lot of word of mouth, and that's really where the value is. It's not actually the customer retention, it's the new customer acquisition. Let's talk about some interesting examples of PR. So we look at the company half.com. What they did was they were trying to strategize how to get national attention. And what they did was temporarily rename a town to half.com. And then they compiled a story built around how they're creating jobs in a small town. Even if the number of jobs is just 3, the story is interesting enough that it would get published. And they ended up getting 40 million plus impressions and getting acquired by eBay 6 months later. So you can see that investing in unconventional PR can have much bigger cascade effects than doing conventional cold emails, advertising, etc. Another example, at PayPal's annual developer conference, we had WePay, a competitor of theirs, and what they did was they placed a 600-pound block of ice at the conference entrance. And basically, this was a visceral physical symbol of how PayPal was freezing customers' accounts, and they were able to generate thousands of signups. So again, a big bold risk, which is something you as a startup can do because you have nothing to lose. Large companies have something to lose, so they're less likely to do these types of crazy things. Blendtech, a very creative company that generated a lot of buzz because they created these viral videos called Will It Blend, where they'll have a blender and they'll shove things in there like an iPhone or a golf club to demonstrate how their products are extremely effective. Well, their Shave Club also was able to skyrocket their popularity by creating very interesting and bold videos. Now let's deep dive a little bit on the customer appreciation front. So one of the interesting things about this is that even if you don't get a lot of PR traction from your bet on customer appreciation stunts, it enhances word of mouth anyways, because those customers are going to be so appreciative that they'll probably talk about what happened. So examples of this would be luggage tags that you send to people with handwritten notes. and you send those to people as a reward for mentioning your product on Twitter, as an example. So you might want to focus there on influencers or people that have a lot of followers. You can do things like giveaways. Handwritten notes are also something that you can purchase. So there are companies online that I found that will write handwritten notes for you, or you can do it yourself. You can hire contractors to do it. One common pathway to virality or early tests with these things is to focus on Redditors. So you can make early Redditors who are talking about your product feel very much appreciated. Grasshopper.com does things like giving away Starbucks gift cards, giving away Skittles, again, doing the handwritten notes. In fact, this is so effective for them that they have 2 full-time employees whose entire job is essentially to delight customers in these over-the-top ways. Shopify is famous for a build a business competition with 6-figure prizes. So holding competitions are things that not only generate customer satisfaction, but can also generate a lot of PR. Dropbox similarly has competitions with rewards through things like an online scavenger hunt. You can have Mother's Day events where you send flowers and chocolates to the winner, or to the mother of the winner of that contest. Hipmunk did some publicity customer appreciation, such as flying customers home for free for